Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining me here again on the channel tonight. It is Monday. Unfortunately, it is October the 30th. It is the day before, the night before, one of my very favorite days of the whole entire year. Halloween is tomorrow, and I feel like we got played a very big trick on us tonight because there were very little treats on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much once again for joining me here on the channel today. My name is Nick Nightmare. With me, as always, is the world's heavyweight champion of microphones, Blue the Snowball, my loyal tag team partner, and good jeez, God, I can't even think of the right expletive phrase to bring to you how angry I am with what happened tonight on Monday Night Raw. Or should we call it the Kane Show? Are you kidding me? I have not seen Kane this much in the last 10 years as we've seen him tonight. You could take all the time we've seen of him over the last 4 or 5 years, and it probably would not add up to the amount of TV time he had tonight. Why are we dealing with this? What is the result of this supposed to be? Why is Kane, 50-year-old, semi-retired? He's not even a part-timer. He's semi-retired. He's trying to do things outside of professional wrestling. He's going away. He's running for mayor. He's running for mayor, but he's also running rampant on Monday Night Raw as if he could actually do these things. This man was winded after his first segment with Daniel Bryan. And let's not get lost on the fact that tonight, within the first maybe hour and a half of the show, Kane, yes, Kane, ran through Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. 3 of the biggest stars ever just absolutely demolished by Kane. Let's not leave out the fact that he got his hands once again on Finn Balor, making him look absolutely ridiculous after he went out and had a decent match with Cesaro, trying to gain his momentum again, only to be met by Kane at the top of the entrance ramp for absolutely no reason, and Kane tombstoning him onto the stage. Why is Kane on my TV in 2017? You know, so far this year, 2017 has been a complete asshole when it comes to wrestling. It didn't start out that great, but we definitely had better possibilities on the horizon, especially with the way things were looking on SmackDown, but things have gotten just as bad there as they are here on Monday Night Raw. I'm sitting here on the night before Halloween. I'm supposed to be happy and excited for tomorrow, and instead I'm exhausted and I'm drained and I'm angry because of the show that they threw in front of me tonight. What does Kane have to do with anything that you're building towards Survivor Series? You're going to have this match with Kane versus Braun Strowman for absolutely no reason. Braun Strowman has already been solidified as Monday Night Raw's new and future monster. The monster among men is his name. He does not need to go through Kane to prove himself to anybody. If it wasn't the Kane Show, then you should have just called tonight's episode Ms. TV. Because all we did was see The Miz all night long. From the minute he showed up in his limousine and Kurt Angle's yelling at him about not being there to defend Raw when SmackDown invaded them last week. And telling him, why are you coming to the show late, getting all on him like a general manager, and then booking him in an Intercontinental Championship match. But he wasn't going to tell him who his opponent was. And then we have that match, and then we have The Miz all night long, backstage, trying to go away. Kurt Angle stopping him. He goes back to his locker room, and he's worried about garbage. His locker room smells like fucking garbage. That's what this whole entire show smelled like, was garbage. From the minute it started right down to the end. There was not really one saving grace of this show outside of the pretty good match that Finn Balor and Cesaro had. They were not given enough time. Of course, we went to commercial during every single segment on the night. So I felt like I've seen more commercials in this one night than we've seen all month long. And that's a lot of damn commercials. This whole entire episode was nothing but nonsense. Bayley versus Alicia Fox was the booked match. Alicia Fox comes out. I'm so mad I'm not even saying her name right. And she's wearing a captain's hat and not a pilot's hat. She's wearing a captain's hat, like a Love Boat captain's hat. A pilot's hat is drastically different than a fisherman boat or a sea boat captain's hat. She's wearing a sea captain's hat, and she's acting like she's the pilot on a plane. This is your captain. Her acting is god-awful. Absolutely nothing but cringes up and down my spine. And the whole reason she's even opening up her mouth is because she's taking it upon herself, because she's the captain of nothing, to insert Nia Jax in her place. Why is Nia Jax taking orders from Alicia Fox? I was very glad that she showed up tonight, that she didn't actually walk like everybody's jumping to report Nia Jax is leaving. And now you all look like idiots. You all got cake on your face because you had to jump and be the first to report it. We talked about it in reference, but we did not in any finalized way say Nia Jax walked out, because we use our brain on this show. We look outside the lines and inside the box as well. And we see things for what they are. There's no way this girl walked out, not for the reasons everybody was talking about it. And now she shut everybody up by showing up tonight on Raw and essentially squashing Bayley, which furthers again what I believe that somebody on that Raw team really, really hates Bayley. It's not just you and I. The reason we hate Bayley is because this person hates Bayley, and this person has booked her to look like the garbage that The Miz was worried about all night long. So why do we care? You're essentially putting together a Survivor Series team. I don't mind having competitive matches to decide who's going to be on said team, but this just made no sense. Here you have a prime spot to possibly relaunch the Bayley character, hit the reset button and try again with a legitimate opponent like Nia Jax. Not like we haven't seen them in the ring already on Raw like 12 times this year, because there's only 4 women wrestling. There were 6, but now 2 of them are gone. This show was a complete mess. We had Samoa Joe come back. How could I be upset with the comeback of Samoa Joe? You know how? When they put him in a match against Apollo Crews. I would have been much more appreciative of Joe just coming out and saying what he had to say. And then telling you guys, I'm back. And I'm going to start tearing ass. And that's it. And go away. We didn't need an unnecessary match with Apollo Crews where you actually book Apollo Crews to look good. You made him look good against Samoa Joe. I mean, it still wasn't the best. But Samoa Joe is a destroyer. That's in his name. He should destroy things. There should not have been any moment of that match where Apollo Crews came out with any sort of offense. The way Apollo Crews has been booked in his teaming with Titus O'Neil, none of that matters. What did he get for his participation? He got a Coquina clutch. And then Titus O'Neil wants to jump in the ring and bow up like you've done anything. Like you've beaten anybody. Like you think you stand a chance against the Samoan submission machine. Are you out of your milk dud head? Are you out of your mind? What the hell, bro? What did I just watch? And Samoa Joe's standing there in the ring when it's all said and done after he choked out both of these clowns, walking around like, yeah, that's what I did. This is what they got me doing. Because they don't know what else to do with me. We had Braun Strowman also return tonight. Another thing that I would normally be ecstatic about. But Braun Strowman returned tonight, rising from a pile of garbage. I'm not making that up. I'm not being facetious. I am not trying to be funny. I literally watched with my own two eyes a big red dump truck, coincidentally, a big red garbage truck, probably because it was Kane night, so they even had to make the truck red. And the truck dumped out a whole bunch of garbage in front of the Miz's limousine as they tried to escape Monday Night Raw tonight. And from the pile of garbage rose a monster among men. And you want me not to laugh my ass off? You want me not to think that you guys have lost your mind? Are you thinking with your brains? Or are you thinking with the brains that are firmly planted in your asses? I just don't understand it. You want me, a 40-year-old intelligent wrestling fan of over 3 decades, over 35 years, and I have never once been asked to believe that a man, any man, no matter what size he is, spent 2 weeks in a garbage truck. No, and let's look deeper into the fact that he was placed into a white garbage truck. Okay, so now you want me, this handsome and intelligent young man, to believe that Braun Strowman escaped the white garbage truck and then willingly, among his own will and desire, put himself into the back of another one so that he could come out of a pile of garbage to stop the Miz. You want me to believe that? My God, what are we watching? What is this? Tonight, they made me hate myself for being a wrestling fan. It was one of the longest 3 hours I have ever had to sit through. I felt like it was about 12:30 at night by the time we hit 9 p.m. Struggling to keep my eyes open. The only thing looking forward to seeing Finn Balor and Cesaro one-on-one. This guy right here, this other handsome guy behind me, he got booked to lose tonight. And I knew it from the minute I seen the match. Because we know the agenda, and of course tonight's Kane night. So, it's the Kane show. Why wouldn't Kane win? Kane is going one-on-one against Seth Rollins tonight. I tweeted out right away, oh, sorry Seth. Looks like you're next in line to lose to this idiot so that he could be made to look strong. For what? For an unnecessary match with Braun Strowman? And now you sacrifice this guy. You put his shoulders to the mat, and you want to have Sheamus and Cesaro cause a distraction, take Ambrose out of the equation, and then Seth Rollins falls to the monster. So now if Kane can't even beat Seth Rollins by himself, how much of a formidable opponent is Kane for Braun Strowman anyway? None of this makes sense. You're booking Kane ridiculously. You're sacrificing all of your young talent. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins are only the first two in your path. But like I said earlier, tonight, Daniel Bryan had a match on Raw. We didn't see it because he was in the dark. It was a dark match, so to speak. But Daniel Bryan was chokeslammed by Kane in the dark of Kurt Angle's office tonight. So he took out Daniel Bryan. Like I said, completely laid waste to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose at the conclusion of that match. He would then destroy Finn Balor all in one night. Why? My God. What else? We had the announcement of the 25th anniversary of Raw Celebration. That's going to be happening right here in my backyard at the Barclays Center, where I saw NXT take over Brooklyn 3 this past summer. I don't know that I want to try to get tickets. They are available this week. I might do one of two things, because it is being simultaneously booked at the Barclays Center and the Manhattan Center in New York City, which is where the first episode of Raw aired and continued to air for many years after that, until they decided to take the show on the road. And I am of the mindset that believes that that is where the cooler stuff is going to happen. I don't want to be in the Barclays Center and watching an episode of Monday Night Raw, when I could be in the Manhattan Center, a place where I have been before, reliving some great wrestling memories, and that's probably where your legends are going to show up. They've advertised tonight The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Nash, all rumored to be in attendance that night. Shawn Michaels seemed to be taken by surprise by this announcement, as he tweeted on Twitter, "Well, I guess I better put this on my calendar, because I guess nobody thought to tell Heartbreak Kid that this is how bad this company has become. They're booking talents in things, and they don't even know. They're making these little videos for story time, for example, with Chris Jericho, and they're taking little audio bits and extras from their DVDs and turning them into little amusing animated skits, and these guys don't even know they're doing it. So they're just taking liberties with all these guys. Oh, we'll call Shawn, he'll be there, we'll advertise Shawn. You can't tell me he didn't already know if he's going to make a comment like that. Oh, well, I guess I better put this on the calendar, because, I've been busy in NXT, so I need to make room on the calendar for this. The Miz would find out who his opponent was, and his opponent was Matt Hardy. We would also see another return tonight, of Patient Zero of the meningitis outbreak. Bo Dallas was back at ringside tonight, joining the Miztourage, which I am completely over. I do not want to see this anymore. It's ridiculous. And I was very hopeful that in this moment, with the build to Survivor Series, and the realization that The Miz is doing nothing with the Intercontinental Championship and is just getting lost amongst this overdramatic nonsense, that he was going to drop the title to a singles Matt Hardy, possibly bringing forth the Awoken Universe, or whatever they're going to do and call it the Broken Universe. I want to start seeing Delete in the WWE. It's getting old really fast, and it's going to lose its luster when he finally does it, because we're all going to be over it. And nobody's going to care. Because we're still seeing a very extreme Matt Hardy. His moveset, everything about him in the ring, he does still do his mannerisms, but it's time to pull the trigger on that. If you wait too much longer, nobody's going to care. It's like dangling the fish on the line for you over your head, right? And you're sitting there waiting for it, and it's just this far away, and you can't get it, you can't get it, you can't get it, you can't get it. And then finally they're like, all right, here you go. And then screw it, I don't want it anymore. That's what I think is going to happen with Matt Hardy if they don't pull that trigger quick. And they definitely didn't pull that trigger tonight, because The Miz won. They failed to capitalize on this opportunity to finally do something with the Intercontinental Championship. Possibly let him be featured in a singles match, not have Matt Hardy in this useless 5-on-5 Raw versus SmackDown that's going to be captained now by Kurt Angle. But no. The Miz will retain, he will hold on to the Intercontinental Championship, and Matt Hardy will remain in limbo. Kurt Angle would then go on to book Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James in the main event of tonight's show, which I thought was fine. I don't have anything against the women being in the main event. I just was afraid of the outcome, and I got a different outcome, but we'll get to that when we get to the main event, because right after this announcement, we would have Asuka versus Stacey Cullen. So now, after they've already ruined Asuka's debut, And in 2 back-to-back outings made her look like an average wrestler that was taken to the limit by somebody like Emma, who coincidentally is no longer part of the company. Now we're going to book her correctly. Now we're going to bring her in and squash nobodies and make her look like the dominant force that we've been talking about her being the whole damn time. It's ass backwards. And what does it really mean now? You've seen her in the ring with Emma. What kind of competition is Stacey Cullen, who after she took her first shot from Asuka looked like she was scared? Like they paid some girl in the crowd a couple of $1,000, put her in a really bad outfit and said, alright, just do whatever she does to you. Just take the beating. Because she took that first shot and looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her own ghost from her dead body on the floor. And she was out of it from there. This girl could not really do much. She was pretty much a punching bag for Asuka, and she made quick work of this poor girl. This girl had no idea what she was in store for with this match. Look at her eyes during this match. This is not normal dramatic wrestling selling. This is a, holy shit, this girl, I think, just broke my nose. I'm scared. Let's get this over with. I'd be scared. Not after the way you first showed her. But if you would have brought her in this way, like you did with Braun Strowman, yeah, most of us didn't like it in the beginning. We didn't jump right on the bandwagon. But eventually, you're going to see that nobody is ready for Asuka. Apparently, Emma was somewhat ready. And now she's gone. Could ask Leo Rush about that. Let's see if he's still apologizing for his silly comments. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense at all. After that, we had Daniel Bryan backstage with Kurt Angle getting chokeslammed in the dark by Kane, like I talked about before. Finn Balor versus Cesaro. It was a very good match here. Balor wins this one, which I expected, but I'm thinking Cesaro botched the finish. This match was very, very good, but at the end, because of Sheamus's involvement, which is always, it's just getting on my nerves now. Why couldn't we have just a one-on-one match? Why did Cesaro, after being booked in a one-on-one match, have to come out with his tag team partner? Why? He should have came out on his own, with his own music. Let Sheamus be watching in the back on the screen. The same could be said for Rollins and Kane. When Seth Rollins comes out, he came out to Roman Reigns' music with Dean Ambrose in tow instead of just going one-on-one. Balor and Cesaro was okay. And as we talked about earlier, after this match, Finn Balor would become victorious. But he did not hit the coup de grace the way you would expect. That's why I say Cesaro, I think, botched that spot. I think he was supposed to be down on the floor, and he was supposed to take that coup de grace, but he set up for a top rope leg drop. And he was kind of, hunched over, bent over at his waist, and Finn Balor delivered a coup de grace to the back of his neck, and then would win the match, which was a wild and kind of out of nowhere finish. I thought they were going to get up and actually at least do the actual spot, but they did not. I guess time constraints must have gotten in the way there. We will revisit that point when we get to the main event, because that also ended in a very similar fashion. Kane would interrupt Finn Balor on his walkout, like we said at the top of the show, tombstone him onto the stage, and then would go to the ring to have his match with Seth Rollins. It's like it didn't even stop. It just was blending two of the very same segments into one another. One person from a tag team with their tag team partner versus their opponent. One right after the other, and let's bleed them from one into the other, and we'll use Kane to mix it all together, because Kane needs to be a part of every single bit of tonight. I'm sure you can find red everywhere besides just the red in the Raw logo, because Kane was everywhere tonight, and it was nauseating. Especially even more nauseating, the fact that he won this match and Seth Rollins was sacrificed to Kane. This show just made me angry. One of the most aggravating things to me was this Trick or Street Fight. Now, before we get into it, didn't we do this last year? Didn't Gallows and Anderson do this last year? With the exact same props and almost the exact same match, minus all the stupid jack-o'-lantern heads. And we're doing a Halloween match. Why are Slater and Rhino dressed as Santa? I was going to lay a big F-bomb right there. Because it's cringe TV at its finest. Gallows and Anderson want to come out there dressed like their counterparts from Southpaw Regional Wrestling. If you haven't watched Southpaw Regional Wrestling, it's an absolutely fantastic comedy series produced by the WWE, where WWE superstars play themselves in a very outrageous manner as they may have been portrayed in the early 80s. And it's very, very funny. But this was not. This was a joke of another kind. This was a joke that made you want to hang yourself from the rafters. Because this is not wrestling. I understand there's a place for gimmicks and jokes and it's the holiday and just get into it and have fun. No. You are not allowed to have fun at my expense and insult my intelligence and try to tell me that was some sort of a match when you don't have anything else on the card that even resembles an actual match. You need to have wrestling if you want to give me comedy matches. You can't give me Cesaro and Finn Balor for 10 minutes and give me a retarded ending and have Sheamus interfering and all this. It's not just a straight up one-on-one entertaining wrestling match like we got with Finn and AJ. That's what I kind of expected with Finn and Cesaro. That's not what we got. If we would have got that, I might be a little bit more forgiving of a Trick or Street Fight. This is making me think of Vince McMahon in his little laboratory back in the 90s. How can we get the divas to be naked? Right? Like, he's got that mindset. It's that skit mentality. We gotta bob for apples, and we gotta have, mud fights and pies in the faces and food fights and all that nonsense. That nonsense is not welcome if you're not giving me what you're supposed to be giving me, which is wrestling. And this show and this company sucks at wrestling now. Much like the company that they contracted to do their video game sucks at making wrestling games. 2K is another story for another day. Let's finish this damn review here. After this stupid Trick or Street Fight, which Slater and Rhino won, which at the end of the day, the only thing that this Trick or Street Fight proves to anybody is that Gallows and Anderson are the worst tag team the WWE has ever had. They don't take them seriously, they don't care for them, and they don't want to book them the way they should be booked. They're not teaming them with Finn Balor, they're not teaming them with AJ Styles, they are not calling them the club, they are not having them involved with either club member in any way. All they're doing is jobbing them out to literally everybody they can. Slater and Rhino, who have not been on TV in how friggin' long, you guys. At least Gallows and Anderson have been out there every week, jobbing out, making their money, cashing their checks, right? That's what's important, I guess. Looking like a fool don't matter. Coming to the WWE to change wrestling and to bring what you did in New Japan. We're not going to do that. We're not even going to care anymore. We're just going to collect our money and sit back and act like jerks and call everybody nerds. And wrestle in Trick or Street Fights. And we'll lose in that too. Are you kidding me? There was one spot in this ridiculous segment where they went to collide heads. Gallows and Anderson were both wearing hollowed out pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns on their heads. Like a battle of pumpkin kings. Only these were not kings, these were jesters. Court jesters dressed up as pumpkins. Jack-o'-lanterns, jerk-o'-lanterns. They couldn't even do the spot. They went to have them do a double noggin knocker headbutt so that the pumpkins would explode, right? And you'd get that whole cool imagery of the pieces of the pumpkins all exploded. And they missed. and Michael Cole still sold it as if the spot happened. This show was atrocious. Elias Sampson comes out to sing us all a lovely little song, only to be interrupted by Jason Jordan again. This is more evidence of that ass-backwards booking we've been talking about. These segments should have been happening prior to their very first encounter, which has come and gone. It actually came and went the very same night it began. And then you go on and have another match with them, where Elias gets himself disqualified by bashing Jordan in the shoulder with that beautiful guitar. And now we're going back to just him interrupting the song. I want this to be over faster than almost everything else, because Elias is being wasted. Jason Jordan is a failure. He's not going anywhere with this stupid Angle Son gimmick. It's not going anywhere. He has not changed to me. I have not seen his charisma come out at all. Nothing has changed about him other than his outfit. He's got the same cheesy goofball smile. He looks like Vanilla Milk USA, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because if you don't have charisma and you don't have the ability to talk, you don't have the ability to talk. It's not something that can be taught. Sure, you can try to improve upon people and their set skills that they already have. But if the base skill set is not there, you're not going to be able to draw it out of them. The only thing you could allow this kid to do is be real. And he can't be even the smidge of real, because he's not really the son of Kurt Angle. So every promo he gives is generated and fake and nonsense. You were insulting the crowd's intelligence. You were insulting everybody that works there's intelligence by even running this angle. We don't do these things in wrestling anymore. The intelligence and, education is out there. Nobody can hide anything. Jason Jordan has been wrestling for years. He was an established talent in NXT for years. And you want us to believe that he's Kurt Angle's son. That's not going to happen. So the minute you really put all those eggs in that basket and you think we're going to believe you, you've already failed. Like I said, 2017 being a real ass this year. Asshole. Because everything stinks. Nothing is good. It feels dirty and itchy and like a bad rash. And it stinks. You know what else stinks? The damn cruiserweight division still stinks, but, and I'm going to say this but very quickly, Drew Gulak, he's kind of funny, and he was probably the best moment of the night. First of all, I love that Enzo calls him Gabagulak. Now, if you're an Italian from New York and you eat cold cuts, and you know why that's funny. It's not going to be funny to you if I explain it to you, so I'm not going to waste my time explaining to you why I find Gabagulak to be friggin' hysterical. If you know what it is, you know why I'm laughing, you're probably laughing at it too, because it's friggin' hysterical. And Drew Gulak tonight helping out Enzo with his intro promo and actually spelling the word soft correctly. Much to Enzo's surprise, and he was not happy about it. How you doing? But I thought that was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Drew Gulak's whole mimicking of Enzo during the last match where he did the whole thing when Enzo had laryngitis and couldn't say a word. I thought it was very entertaining, and this also was as well. He kind of reminds me of when Chris Jericho was first popping up in WCW and he was reading his moves list and things like that, and just being obnoxious and trying to play himself off as being more intelligent than you, even though he's making himself look like a complete jackass. And that's what Drew Gulak is doing. The only interesting thing going on in the Cruiserweight division, now that Neville's gone, I really could care less what's happening over there. Kalisto wins, beats Drew Gulak in this match, and Enzo would make him eat defeat in a post-match attack. And that would be the end of that. The show would end with the women's title main event. This main event was not great. And I want to be nice because I really, really enjoy both women in this scenario. Mickie James is fantastic. She has her place in, the lore of wrestling. She belongs there. She's great. I don't mind her. She's had great matches. Oh, let's be fair. She's had good matches. I don't want to say great. She's had good matches with Alexa Bliss throughout their feud since they've started this whole thing. And I thought that in this main event spot, it was probably going to be the culmination of all of those things. And that we might even see Mickie James win the title tonight. I expected a far better match than what we got. It was slow. It was methodical. It kind of came off as ground and pound, but part of me believed they just were kind of at a loss and weren't sure what to do. Some of the spots were a little iffy. They were minorly botched. I don't want to really say they really botched anything, but there were some very sloppy spots. And my biggest complaint with this match overall is the fact that it ended with a slap. These girls wrestled for maybe 6 to 8 minutes tops. No real devastating offense was hit on Mickie James. They were pretty evenly matched throughout it, going back and forth. Nobody really truly gaining the advantage over anybody. And then out of nowhere, Alexa Bliss would cock back and fire with a slap across the face to Mickie James. Even if it was a balled up fist. It was just a punch to the face. A punch to the face that she's taken time and time and time again in her career and has never once been beaten by a punch in the mouth. Who gets beat by a punch in the mouth if you're not being punched by a 7-foot-tall giant with a meat hook hand? That at least I could believe. 5 feet of fury without brass knucks on it or anything to make it a loaded weapon like William Regal used to do. The power of the punch was actually the secret of the knucks. Right? It sold it. It was dastardly. It was a dirty move. He was a villain. It was great. That's not what you did here. Alexa just slapped Mickie James across the face. She would flop to the canvas. And then Alexa gets the 3 count. And I'm sitting there like, what? How is that the finish of this match? Did they just need to hurry up and end it and then the girls didn't know what to do? How'd you not do a Twisted Bliss after you slapped her in the face? What would it have taken? Another 5 seconds? 10 seconds of TV time to climb up to the top turnbuckle and do your little flippy twist? 1, 2, 3? I don't understand that ending. How is that good? Who's writing this crap? And then the end of the show would be The Miz trying to escape and finding Braun Strowman rising from the trash that is Monday Night Raw, coming out of the back of the big red Kane garbage truck, which couldn't be more apropos, could not be more fitting. A big red garbage truck came and took a trash dump all over Monday Night Raw. And only Braun Strowman arose out of it. And would end the show tonight in absolute chaos. As it has been ending for the last 3 weeks now. After the first debacle with everybody just beating the hell out of each other at the end of the pay-per-view. To SmackDown invading. To now this. Just chaos. No structure, no nothing, no reason to care. I don't care. This show made me hate being a wrestling fan. Hate it. Because you can't help it. You guys know, if you watched it, you sat through 3 hours, like I like to say, maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe I'm being too hard because I don't see through the corporate glasses. I don't take the blinders off. I watch with my eyes and I see things that maybe some of you guys don't. It's obvious to me, some of these erroneous booking errors. That's all it is. It's a night of bad decisions. Kane being a part of the roster right now alone is a bad decision. I don't want to get back into it. That's going to do it. That was Raw tonight, you guys. It was a big, red, steaming turd. All over my face. It was terrible. You know, when I came home from work, I put on this very lovely Flash shirt. And I did not do that with any prior knowledge of how much red was actually going to be on Monday Night Raw. And I didn't do this to color coordinate with the theme of tonight's show, being that it was Kane night. It just kind of happened. I just want to throw that out there in case anybody was wondering why I was wearing red on Kane night. Simply just a coincidence. And I'm glad that it's over. And I am not at all looking forward to tomorrow and seeing where this nonsense leads us. That's going to do it, guys. Don't forget, if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, to smash that thumbs up. If you are not part of the Sledgehammer Club already, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the ringside bell right next to that word that says subscribe to make sure that you are kept up to date, and every time a video drops on this channel, you will know right that very second that it hits live on the internet so that you can get your eyes on some cool wrestling content. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. Love all the support that I've been getting in all the comments. The comment section is yours. Don't forget to light it up. Let me know your questions. What did you think of the Kane show tonight? What do you think is in store for us for the rest of the year? Would you go to Raw 25 if you had the opportunity? Would you go to be tortured for 3+ hours and, you know, not knowing what they're going to be writing at that point? I mean, I don't know. I'm a little scared to do it, but we might, and I will let you know and keep you guys up to date on all of that. My name is Nick Nightmare. With me, as always, is my boy Blue, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, my tag team partner. This has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. Don't forget to check out Clutch Chairs in the description below. That is gonna do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow for SmackDown. Ugh.